So yesterday I made a video on this channel, which was a tactical mistake for many reasons. If you didn't see it, I was basically just saying that Luke Smith, instead of running out into the woods, he should have taken some action and tried to help the people around him instead of just, roasting them all. But it's not really a good idea in general to roast another content creator because all that happens is those person's diehard fans come out of the woodwork and defend them, and you're not really going to change them anyway. And also, Luke Smith, as I said in that video, it's nuanced. He did a lot of good stuff as well. So, yeah, not a great tactic there. And the other tactic that I've been using, well, kind of unintentionally, I've just been extremely excited about behavior to the point where I think I got more than a few comments where people are, a little bit concerned about how excited I am about it. People said, this looks like mania, and you got to be very careful with that. I'm pretty sure it's just normal quality excitement. I'm planning to go insane in a few months' time. I'm kind of pushing that down the road, but for now we're chilling. I should also say that last sentence was a joke, and also the cult stuff. I guess I don't do this enough, but my humor style is very, very on the edge of sarcasm that's you can't really tell if I'm being serious or not. And that's the same thing with the cult. Maybe I should kind of disclaim that to the people that don't get my very weird brand of humor. And the reason for that is just I thought if I make it so ridiculously over the top culty, it's clear that it's not a cult. But the problem is I don't know, just the way things have lined up with this particularly unusual situation, I can see how people might actually think it's a cult. To be clear, the end goal of this Discord server, and eventually what it'll turn into, is likely a community on another platform, is just to read a lot of books and to network and make friends, really. And all the hardcore behavior stuff that I've been putting on this channel, I think, is not really suited for the people on this channel, because I was posting that all in the vestibule, and the people there kind of got to know slowly over time what I was learning as I learned it, and the people here just got completely jump scared. Sylvan just did a personality 180 and interest 180, and yeah. So if you're interested in the behavior stuff I'm doing, it'll be on that channel. This channel is going to eventually just kind of turn into what I was doing before, tech recommendations and Vim tips and that kind of stuff, and occasional lifestyle advice videos. Sorry, it's really cold down here. So I guess I didn't really motivate the story behind where I've been, why I've learned these things, how it's kind of changed me. And yeah, I think that will make things a lot more clear and a lot less just culty and insane. So it was, I don't know, back 3 months ago or something in the winter, maybe 2 months ago. I'm temporally challenged. I don't know. And I was kind of not putting a ton of focus into the vestibule community until I got my channel deleted. And then I was all right, this is basically my user base now. So I split off into Substack and another YouTube channel called The Vestibule, which was going to be kind of a change log of what community stuff I did. And I didn't really have much vision for it at the time. I kind of did, but I kept just criticizing what was going on in there because Discord has a pretty negative connotation. We all have kind of our biases, and I was nothing happens on Discord. And it's so yeah, I was just kicking around in the Discord. I lost my channel. My viewership dropped kind of a lot. Surprisingly, that didn't bother me, but I don't know, the whole kind of accumulation of where I was in my life at that point did start to bother me. I was well, I had a really cool YouTube channel. I got offered a ton of jobs just because I did some good personal marketing, and then I dropped out of school because I was too dropped out of school because I was putting too much faith in that strategy. And I was back in school at that point. I was studying math, but I'd left all those jobs. So basically I had no job, I had no school. So I kind of messed up, and I was very burnt out about that for a long time, in the community as well. And there were some friends I made in the community. And it's really cool to talk to people out there. They can really kind of transform your worldview. But also, I've noticed, like, you talk to someone and you start saying the stuff that they say. It's like we're very imprintable little creatures. And yeah. So at some point, I ran into this guy, No, who came to check out the community, and he knew me from, like, my Ferris sweep tutorial days. Like, he's a big, like, long-term tech guy, always giving me software recommendations as well. So we'll see some new unusual software I've found in this time. Yeah, I didn't really understand the depth of his skill set for a little while. So the problem I've found online, one of the biggest ones, is I didn't really know how to evaluate, like, someone who is really smart from someone who's just, like, yapping because they like to feel smart, which is a lot of people, a lot of them. And especially online for some reason. But one thing I've noticed, and this is a sure sign, is people that are really, truly intelligent or really have a skill set don't run around, like, showing it off. They don't, like, constantly try to tell you about it. Fuck, that's what I've been doing. Yeah. They kind of slowly reveal their full skill set to you. And so I got talking to No more and more because we would just talk about all kinds of things with the community, like what little things could be added and how role structures and staff could be set up. Eventually, I had a rift with my original staff because I had been talking to No a lot, and I started to kind of get an idea of this guy's expertise. So he's a positive reinforcement animal trainer. Also, he was like a hacker or sysadmin for a long time, and had several other alternative careers, including, like, being the administrator of tarantula addicts, the spider community, and he really applies science-based behavior to kind of everything he does, and is very, very knowledgeable about it. But it came to a point where I had, like, a ton of staff, and every decision I was making, I was going through, like, a big meeting with all of those staff, and it was just going to be way faster to have a structure where it's like I was just making any decision I wanted, and then if I make a mistake, someone would point out and I would correct, because that's how I do it on the channel. If I had to ask 5 other people and their creative inputs for everything I do, it would slow to a drag. And so I tried to restructure staff. It went really horribly because all of those people were, like, obviously, like, not very happy to be, like, to have a community they had built and put a lot of their time and energy into, and to have me just be like, no, it's my community, yoink. And I totally recognized that in hindsight, but I was just like, I want to get this done. And so I lost a bunch of friendships. That was a very painful moment. Very painful. Like, I was devastated, and I also, at that point, wasn't sure, like, who to ally with, because some of those friends were, like, very, very good at their respective fields, most of which were in STEM, and No is very, very good at behavior. But I wasn't sure yet. I wasn't, like, totally good at evaluating skill sets. So I was like, who am I choosing for what reason? And yeah, it was a pretty scary time. I was pretty burnt out after that as well. Okay, but that's kind of the personal history. I was hacked, by the way. I don't know if I said that. I think Palantir tried to take me down because I was just too based. No, I just got fished. And when did I really start noticing a complete turnaround in my behavior and like leadership skills and all that stuff? That was, like, maybe a few weeks after that incident. So No and I would talk a lot about No and I would talk just a lot about all kinds of things, as you kind of do with mentor characters. And he would send me different papers that I now realize were, like, very, very calculated to help me improve my understanding of myself in key ways. So one of the big ones was, I thought I had ADHD for a long time, and I kind of just, like, assumed, well, some people who can't focus and do a lot of stuff have ADHD. I probably have it. And then I kind of started confirmation biasing my way into a hole. But this paper he sent me talked about how compulsivity and impulsivity can kind of co-occur in people. And I started to look at my behavior, and I was like, well, hold on, I'm actually quite a bit more compulsive than I am impulsive. And yeah, it kind of transformed a little bit the way I see myself. And also I realized also my mom is quite compulsive. So That just kind of helped how I interacted with things in general. And then there were a couple other papers that I read as well during that time. I was reading a lot during this whole time as well, so I can't fully give credit to like the behavior stuff that No taught me, but like I read all the time, all different books and articles, and so I should really keep a list, but I have a horrible problem where I like can't take notes. Like I have just really bad executive function with note writing for some reason. I just do the thing, all right, next thing, do the thing, next thing. I don't know. I can't write down like tons of stuff. Like, even simple to-do lists are kind of a challenge for me. So that was a big thing. Now, I've talked, like, all my bad habits were extincted. An extincted behavior term is just like that habit kind of stopped, or that behavior stopped occurring. And bad habits would just be like, mostly the big thing for me was media consumption. And there's a very easy way to actually extinct those behaviors, which is to do something called DRI. And DRI is something I do on myself all the time now. Differential reinforcement of incompatible behavior. So if you're curious about behavior, I'll make, there'll be a video soon with more technical stuff, especially on the vestibule. I'll cross post, but DRI basically says that instead of trying to like just by force of will, like getting rid of a bad habit, what if we have a better habit that's just way more fun? Then you won't do the bad habit. And so for me, that was like reading behavior textbooks and talking to No and working on the community. And just like the community work is really cool. It's like, okay, how do we give certain roles to certain people? What's the structure going to look like? What features can we add? And it was just so fun. And reading behavior books and making videos about them was so fun that like my need to do anything else, my need to amuse myself with YouTube just disappeared. Like every day was just like filled to the brim with fun activities. It also made kind of those mundane activities like shopping with people and my interactions with people in the real world so fun as well that I didn't ever like be like, I'd rather watch a YouTube video in my room than spend time with my friends or family. Because now it's like when I spend time with friends and family, it's like I can see all their different behaviors like occurring and I can kind of guess it like, okay, why are they doing that? What's causing that? And it's just like it made it so fun. It made reality so like bright and colorful that I was like, YouTube, oh my God, that's just so boring. That's like black and white TV. Why would I watch that? Like life is like playing a video game now. I can see like it's a completely different lens. So DRI for me, just like all the kind of less savory things I did, and I don't want to go into all of them for reasons of personal embarrassment, but I'll go into one for your sake. So I had a compulsive habit where I'd like pick at scabs, especially like acne, which is a really bad habit. And for some reason it's reinforcing. I think it's negatively reinforcing, as in like it relieves stress to do. So I like see a scab, I'm like, that could be picked, pick it, and then it's like I'm relieved stress wise, and that creates kind of a feedback loop. No has a very good way of not directly criticizing your kind of bad habits, but like bringing them up in a background way. Like I think he said to me, did your parents ever tell you not to pick your scabs? It just like completely offloaded it onto them, let people know that like that's a visible habit. And then also like hit me with a 1-2 with a paper on compulsivity and just all the behavior learning I was doing. I was like, wow, that I could just not do that. Like the perception that people can notice that habit is like, okay, it's not worth it. Like that's just more embarrassing than it's worth the satisfaction. And that just kind of drowned out. Like the reinforcers in that equation just got completely changed, and now I don't do it. And yeah, you can really do DRI on basically any habit you want. You just have to get good enough at kind of designing these little replacement things. The community was kind of small. After the staff rift, like people were still pretty mad at me and confused, and they didn't really see the plan. Well, not all of them. I don't want to assume that. There were people who saw it through, who kind of stuck with the plan. And then when I really started to notice a pretty dramatic change is I went to visit my grandparents, my whole extended family, and I started just applying the things I was reading and learning about. And I was just like so much more charming and so much more able to talk to people. And I actually started to like care about people as more than just kind of abstractions of like, I don't know. I have a very different lens. It's now like, how do I understand this person as best I can and where they're coming from? And it makes just social interaction so much more enjoyable for me. You have to not just look at like, how do you reinforce another person, but how do you reinforce yourself when doing the things you do? And so I really started to enjoy being really charming, giving people little gifts, giving people strategic compliments, smiling a lot more, like doing all those kinds of stuff, which is just really nice for the people around you. It's a nice time if you're kind of more lively and friendly. And I also got a few comments that time when I was like reading my behavior textbook that was like brand new face, brand new brain. And I started to realize I went from just watching kind of amusing YouTube videos about surface level things and there's so many YouTube videos from charlatans too that you think are informative, but it's like, well, the real researchers are off reading research in books. They're not making YouTube videos. Not totally the case across the board, but oftentimes there are people that are pretty good con men about certain things. So then I looked in the mirror one day and I was like, wow, my face is completely different. The way I smile, my affect has really changed. And I'm reading all hard science now and talking to mentors about it. This is a very different trajectory than I was on a little bit ago, like being flat and bored and just all my ideas were from YouTube. And like, it was very different to wake up to. And also last thing I'll leave you on, because behavior has really personally changed me. You can also kind of use it to change social interactions. So I noticed a few people in my life, I don't want to totally point them out, but would use certain strategies to get me to do things. Like once you're operating in the level of like trying to incite change in other people, you start seeing how other people are using strategies to do that. And a lot of the strategies people use are really kind of underhanded and manipulative. So I see criticism as a way to get people to do things and kind of nagging. And also I see fawning, which is like acting pathetic on purpose and being like, you have to feel bad for me. And that's also a form of manipulation. And manipulation when like you could do that to get someone to do what you want, or you could like praise them. You could be like, yeah, you washed the dishes, great job, gold star, here's something rewarding to you. Here's praise. Praise is rewarding to quite a lot of people, especially from authority figures. And so yeah, I started to see that in people around me and be like, well, this actually makes me miserable. I don't like being criticized. It feels aversive. If I'm going through something, I don't want to be criticized. I want love and affection. That'll help. Not to like be like no criticism ever. It's important for people to keep you grounded in reality. But you can just do little but with just a few conversations. Another thing I learned during this time was modeling vulnerability, thanks to Brene Brown, which is just like, there's a few tactics you can do, but kind of slowing down your delivery, being more earnest, using certain softer phrasings to try to get someone into a more malleable mind state where they're like they don't feel threatened and they feel safe to change their mind. Persuasion really is just the ability to, one of my favorite quotes is persuasion is the ability to make another person feel safe to change their mind. And so I did that on a few people in my life, and the dynamic for me improved a lot. Like no more criticism. And if there was criticism, it's tactful. So yeah, in summary, behavior just kind of gives you a lens on the world that shows you how humans are interacting with each other, and like what mathematical things are at play, what push and pull there are, what things people like and dislike. And it gives you the toolkit to kind of adjust those things and make them a bit more favorable for you. Yeah, I definitely, I'll do this a lot. I'll make a lot of mistakes in this journey. I'll come off the gate too strong, like, oh my God, I learned this crazy thing. We can change the world together. And I do understand that's a little bit culty, and also a little bit like, this is a mistake that I make often, which is like, I love to tell people what I'm going to do. For some reason, that's very reinforcing for me. and it's how I've like it's all the mistakes I've made kind of can boil down to that. And as exciting as this moment is in my life, like I should just say, like there is so much to learn. There's so many books to read. There's so many things to set up with the community. Yeah, it's not like an absolute. I don't know. We're not like at world changing levels of anything yet, but I do think it's quite exciting to have this skill set under my belt because personally it really changed everything for me. It took me from like annoying, bent over, antisocial programmer to like upstanding, charismatic Chad in 3 weeks, and just thinking about like spreading that for lots of other people, I think is going to be a net positive for the world, and butterfly effect and all that and whatever. But yeah, I'll catch you next time.